All right, we are here live. We don't have, we're just getting started. Let's see what we have here. All right, there we go. I think we have everything set up. I got everything here. Marking. Got everything I need. Let's see what this does. Don't know what that did. I'm not sure. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, there we go. I guess that did. How about that? Well, I put that on the screen. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Brett's Builds, nice to see you. Arlene, nice to see you as well. It's great to see everybody here. Anthony, thanks for stopping by. We are just getting ready to start this this chat and Q&A and everything like that. I'll try to keep up with everybody. First of all, can you all hear me okay? Am I coming through? Don't know how my volume is. Just kind of getting used to everything. If you can hear me loud and clear, somebody who is in the chat, just say okay or yes or whatever. Great. Thanks, Darlene. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, it's good to see y'all. And I don't know where you're calling from, but good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at. And welcome to, you're in the wrong stream. Well, that's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Was there another stream up with my name, or was it somebody else? Because I may have opened the wrong thing here, DZ. Brazil, nice to see you from Brazil. Beautiful country, beautiful country. I hope everyone's staying healthy and happy and everything down there. There were three. I had three open. Uh-oh, this isn't good. I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't know how to. I don't want to take a chance. Hey, Greg, how are you? Hey, Greg. DZ Studios was telling me I have three streams open. Is that? If that's the case, I am. I'm not sure what I did. Bricks Mix, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliments and stuff. I'm glad you like the channel. I'm glad you like what we do. Let's see here. If I'm trying to, how can I disconnect this? No. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it looks like, and I've seen a lot of your names in the comments and things like that. So I appreciate seeing everybody here. Anyway, welcome. This is my my second Q&A. Actually, I did a Q&A a long time ago. Hi, Norway, Lars. It's good to see you. Oh no, there's also there's other streams going. I wonder if you'll all indulge me, if I could. How do I turn off those other streams? Greg, do you happen to know how I can turn off those other streams? Because I didn't mean to start so many streams. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, you can tell I am a newbie when it comes to streaming. I'm going to have to learn how to stream better. I usually just tag along with GJ Bricks, Greg, on his streams, and don't usually drive in terms of streaming. So I'm all new to this. I do know that if I press this button right here, it pops up something in the chat. All right, Greg, let's see here. What do I need to do here? You do. No idea how you've done that. Go to Studio Videos Live. You'll see the scheduled ones, and you can delete them. Okay, let me see. Now, will that knock me off of this channel here? Because I don't want to do that. I can't believe I have all these going on. I apologize for the 14 folks who are in here. Let me see if I can get this done. Okay, I will go to Studio. Let's see, go to Studio Videos Live. Okay. I have two scheduled and one live. Is this well, this is the live one, right? Change the name of this one so you can reorganize it. Oh man, I've really messed this up, haven't I? Just sorry. Okay, how did I do this? How in the world? Okay, let me try something else. Be right with you here. So yeah, I am, like I said, I am not used to streaming, and so I'm always tagging along with other people here. So now I have, okay, now I have another thing pulled up. So let me see if I can get this off. Yeah, I see myself. Um, it's like a one of those double, triple mirrors. Okay, so let's see here. Um, I am going to videos and I still don't see them. So that's interesting. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Because I don't know how to do this, I'm just going to continue to do this and hopefully everyone can find me. Anyway, I have two scheduled and one live. Thank you very much, Brick Valor. I appreciate it. All right. So anyway, thanks a lot for showing up, everybody. I will just forget about the other streams. I hope other people find me here. I'm not sure how I got a zillion streams going on. I think I just was pressing a bunch of buttons this morning and wasn't sure exactly what I was doing. So anyway, that's all I'll say about this. So what are y'all up to? I hope everybody's safe and healthy and happy and all that kind of stuff. I hope everyone's doing well. We have Norway, Brazil, Australia represented, and I'm here in the United States. I didn't get much sleep last night, and I woke up in about 5 o'clock this morning. It's 9 a.m. here. So anyway, so I think that's why I've pressed so many buttons. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, I wanted to let the folks know who are either watching this now or who will be. Hi, in the UK. Great. I was supposed to be over in me and my family were supposed to come over to the UK and spend a few weeks in England and Germany and in Norway, actually. But unfortunately, we couldn't do it because of this pandemic. So hopefully we'll get over there next year. Poland, nice to see you. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to let folks know who have asked me a bunch of questions, because I've got a whole bunch of questions rolling in from the chat when I said I was going to do a 3,000 Q&A chat, and Piper and I actually recorded it, but for some reason the files were corrupted and we couldn't upload it, and so we tried 3 or 4 different times and it didn't work. So we just decided to forget about it. So now I'm up to 4,120 subscribers, I think, and I thank you so much for all of those new subscribers. So I thought it was, Piper kept saying, you got to do a Q&A, Dad, you got to do a Q&A now. So that's what we're doing. Welcome Canada. So anyway, so I do want to answer a bunch of questions. But what I thought I would do to be respectful to those who had asked questions 3 months ago when I hit 3,000 subscribers, I thought I would answer a couple of their questions first. And then, of course, we can go through the chat and everything like that. So if y'all have questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. And this is a real informal type of chat. If you're watching this after the fact, you can kind of follow along and I'll answer some questions as well. So it's great to see everybody. Boy, I tell you, this is a great stream. Lots of people. Taz Brickman. Yeah, Australia. We have several people from Australia. Australia, I love Australia. I want to get down there at some point and spend a lot of time, particularly in Sydney, with my good friend Greg. So anyway, let me answer a couple of questions. First of all, the question that I've got asked the most from people is said, what was my first Lego set that I ever had? And my first Lego set that I ever had was a little truck that was from 1972, a Lego truck, and it was just a little tiny truck. It was a brick-built truck, and had the rubber wheels on it, with the actual rubber tires that you put over the 2x2 hubcap with the pin in it. And so that was kind of got me into it. And then every year I got one Lego set as a kid growing up. And I know that sounds horrible now because I think of all the stuff that I have in my backlog and I think of all this stuff. But I got one Lego set because they were really expensive. My folks, we didn't come from a rich family. And back then in the early 70s and stuff, times were tough. And so anyway, so I got one set and it came with, like 200-300 bricks. And for every Christmas, I got my my Lego sets. So so I just kind of accumulated a whole bunch of bricks, and I built houses, I built little towns and things like that. So yes, they are still expensive. They're very expensive. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I've used some of the off Lego brands, or some of the off brick brands, I guess, should I say? Not the counterfeits, because I don't believe in that, but some of the legit brick brands like Oxford and Mega Blocks and some of those things. And I kind of like them. I mean, they're nice, but there is a difference. And just the sound, the feel, and the clutch is different. No matter how you cut it, Lego's the best. Thank you so much for everyone who is who enjoys the channel. I really appreciate all your support. Let me just kind of go up the list here, down the list. When did I get an idea for my Lego city? Well, it's funny, because actually that's one of the things that I had, excuse me, that I just mentioned. When I was a kid, I had all these different blocks. And so this sounds kind of weird, but my parents had this blue piece of carpet, and it was just like ripped up from another piece of carpet that we had in our house. And it was like a square, maybe 3 feet or a meter by 2 meters. So I set that on the floor in my room, and I built little houses around that blue square of carpet. And I pretended that carpet was a lake, and that all those little houses, now we didn't have minifigures back then, but all those little houses were beach houses around the lake. So I was actually doing that when I was about 7 or 8 years old. So that was my first Lego city. In terms of Figsdale and the city now, that came about when my stepson Adrian, when he started getting interested in Lego, and my daughter, of course, Piper, who's my 9-year-old. Adrian just turned 13 last week, and I had three kids from a previous marriage who are now grown adults, and gosh, one's almost 30. But anyway, and so the Figsdale came about when Adrian wanted to build a city, and we just laid stuff out on the floor, and we put up a couple modulars, and we went from there. That's really kind of how that happened. And then it just got out of hand. It got really out of hand. But we decided that, it started getting big. And actually, I think I may have posted a couple pictures online on Instagram of that city. So, if you do catch me on Instagram, you can probably scroll way down to the beginning of my Instagram account and see some of those pictures and stuff. How much Lego do I have? Well, according to Brick Set, where you input all the different sets you have, and then it tells you your inventory and stuff, I have about 300,000 plus pieces, and about 160 sets, and that includes poly bags, little sets, big sets, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've accumulated a lot. That's actually one of the questions someone had emailed me was what percentage of bricks come from Bricklink and other secondary sources like Bricklink, Brick Owl, bricks and pieces and stuff, versus how many sets I've actually bought. And for me, it's about 95% of my collection are from sets of all of my pieces and bricks. I buy some from Bricklink, and some from bits and pieces. As a matter of fact, I have an order coming today. It's arriving. I just got a message from FedEx that it's arriving today from Bricks and Pieces. But most of my stuff comes from sets that I either have, or I've bought two of them, or I've taken them apart and stuff like that. And thank you very much, Brickaroo. I'll try to catch up here a little bit. Where can I find a particular type of Lego I'm looking for? My sister said that the Lego came in a canister, and I've been trying to find this for her birthday. You might want to go on to brickset.com, and I don't know because they list every single Lego set that has ever been made, and so that might help you out there. Do I like Lego Hidden Side or Monster Fighters better? That's a good question, Anthony. Good question. I would say I like the Monster Fighters better. because I love the Monster Fighter's house. And if you've been following Six Figs, I replaced the Monster Fighter's house with the new haunted house, which I think the Monster Fighter's house is a real haunted house, as opposed to the new one that they have. That's more of a carnival ride. But I just love the Monster Fighters. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I like the Shrimp Shack. That's probably my hidden side, the only hidden side one that I'm really excited about. I have a question for you. Okay, Vanguard, or Vigard, and I apologize for not saying your name. I apologize. I try to get the names. How do you get inspiration for the city? That's a really interesting question. One of I guess the biggest thing that I get inspiration from is just seeing architecture around me. And even though I use mostly modulars, I have smocks and stuff, but I've always loved the way cities have been arranged, and city planning and things. And so and I used to travel before the pandemic. Now I'm kind of homebound because of my high risk condition. But before the pandemic, I used to travel all around the country, all around the US in particular, and in parts of the world and stuff. And I would see other cities and how they're arranged and how they're laid out, from small towns to big metropolitan areas and stuff. And so that's kind of the inspiration when I see a city and I'm like, oh wow, look, they have their auto shops all kind of stuck in the same part of town, or all their apartment buildings are on one side of town, or I guess it's kind of a zoning type of question in some ways. So I get inspirations from that. I grew up about 30 minutes from one of the major amusement parks on Earth, Cedar Point. And for those of you in the United States, you probably know Cedar Point. It's just an amazing theme park and amusement park in terms of roller coasters and rides and stuff. So I had season passes to that. So I went to the theme parks. We had in Ohio, where I'm from, we had at one time 5 different amusement parks, major amusement parks in Ohio. And so the summer was fun because I spent all my time in amusement parks. So that's from in terms of just attractions and fun rides and stuff like that. Let's see here. First Lego set, I mentioned that earlier. Hello, thank you very much for the congratulations. Is there any sets that I'd like to be brought back into production? The monorail, please bring the monorail back into production, Lego. I beg you, please. I want a monorail, and I don't want to have to pay $1,000 for it. And I don't want it to be yellow because it's old. I want it to be brand new. Although I know that Jang actually has a video where he talks about how he's cleaned up his monorails, and they look great. But anyway, I would love to have the monorail in a new form, in a modern form, with kind of modern cars and things like that. And I know those can be built, but it would be for all of us to get our hands on monorail track that's cheaper, and monorail engines, motors. Let's see. Yeah, I think, DZ, I think I talked about that in terms of amusement parks, where I've been to all kinds. Disney World, of course, I used to actually own, they have a thing called the Vacation Club at Disney World. And so I actually had a timeshare at Disney. And so I spent a lot of time down at Disney. And Disney is great. It's great. It's an attraction park, and Universal is an attraction park. But where I grew up with Cedar Point and Kings Island and Geauga Lake and some of these parks up here in the northern part of the United States, those were the roller coasters and the thrill rides. And so that's kind of where my inspiration came from for that. Will I ever arrange my whole city? Yes. As a matter of fact, my buddy Daryl from Bevan's Bricks he's got a great channel. If you haven't seen him, check him out on Bevan's Bricks. But when he built his barn with his Lego stuff in it, he had to move everything, and now he's building his city on Mills plates. and that gives him so much more ability to put lighting in, to put depth into his streets and things like that. And my city is just flat, and so at some point I do want to rebuild Figsdale and Six Figs, and put it up at least 2 studs, maybe 4, and then that way I'd have more depth and be able to put more, just hills and sewers on the streets and all kinds of things like that. Let's see, the airport. I love I love that 6392 airport. That is an awesome airport, Lars. Totally agree with you. I rode the Magnum the first week it opened, and I got stuck. I rode 3 rides at Cedar Point the first week that they opened, and I got stuck on all 3 of them. And so I vowed that I would never ever ride a ride until the second year that it's been in use. And so that's kind of where I stand with that. Let's see. Let me catch up here. It's great to see everybody. What else? Let's see. Yeah, in turn, DZ, I know you mentioned the Six Figs or the Six Flags base park. I really didn't think about Six Flags when I came up with that name. That name was suggested to me by a friend, Afal, Kaz, Mockett, and Six Figs came out of the fact that it's Figsdale, that we have many figs, and that the amusement parks, at least before the pandemic, were raking in millions and bajillions of dollars, and so that whole Six Figs type of concept. So I didn't even think about the whole Six Flags part. I know that sounds really dumb that I didn't think about it, but I think about it. And I also, in some ways, don't really have a major beef with Six Flags in general, because I guess I just don't personally, but that's just me. I do miss some of this. I do miss it though. Do miss the parks. And it's sad that whole lake is just kind of, dwindled. Let's see, California. All right. Wow. Well, you're up early. Let's see. What should I do if I've chipped a piece of my brick? If your piece of your brick comes from a brand new Lego set that you just got, or a Lego set that you just recently had, you can call Lego, and chances are they'll replace the brick for you. Now, it all depends. They might. It all depends, but they're pretty good at replacing broken or missing parts. If you've done it, and the brick is, and the brick is from an old set or something like that, there's really not much you can do. What I would suggest, and what I've done, is to use that brick. If it's not so important, like it's the only brick of that kind that you have, but I would use that brick somewhere where it's not going to be seen. So in other words, if it's like a 4x2 and the corner of that brick is chipped, then put the last 2 studs of that brick under something, so that way no one sees it and you don't see it. So use it as a support type of brick, as opposed to a front-facing type of brick, if that makes any sense. So I wouldn't throw them away just because they're broke, just because they're chipped, things like that. That helps out a lot. That way you still have a lot of things. Is my Discovery Center ever going to get a roof, Jeff? You bring up a hurtful thing, Jeff. It is going to get a roof. And actually, in the last bricks and pieces order from Lego, I ordered a bunch of blue plates. So unless my attention goes elsewhere and I have to put the blue plates somewhere else, that's the first thing that I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to make a pledge to you, Jeff, that I will put those blue plates on my Lego Discovery Center. I will try. But the blue plates, I'm just let's put a little river here. I'm kind of like Bob Ross. Let's just put a little river here. Let's put this here. And then all of a sudden I realize I've used up all my blue plates again. All right, let's see here. Which Disney vacation club was I at? I was at the first one, actually, at the old Key West. And that was the first one, because that was, again, got the gray hair, got the balding hair. I'm a little, I'm in my mid 50s. And so that was back, that was 30 years ago, 25. Yeah, that was a long time ago, 25 years ago. And so, yeah, that was the first First one. Any suggestions on where to get 6x6 smooth tiles? Boy, I haven't gotten those in a long time. Honestly, I wish I had a suggestion. I mean, obviously Bricklink or Brick Owl or eBay. I mean, I don't know. You could always go in some forums, on Reddit, and some Lego forums and stuff, and just let people know you're looking for those. There's also the list that you can, the wish list that you can do on Bricklink, so that when somebody gets it in their store, it'll pop up and you'll get an email. Yeah, the lobby of the old Key West is really gorgeous. All right, let me answer a couple of questions here from other folks who aren't on the chat but did spend the time to ask questions. Let's see here. How long did it take to create the city? Well, to be honest with you, and that comes from my brick studio. It's this, what you see. And why I keep going like this, because it's in front of me. What you see with Figsdale and 6 Figs has taken 2 years. It's taken about it's taken over 2 years, so about 25 months to accumulate. I did have several modulars prior to starting the city, and I had the firehouse, and I believe we had the brick bank, and I think that was it. And everything else has been accumulated since then. So it took me 2 years to get where I'm at the moment. And again, it's one of those things to where I just keep looking, man, I keep having to add tables, and I'm going to have to overtake the basement here. But I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed to have a nice big basement, and a wife who is kind of like, okay, if that's what you want to do with the basement type of thing. Yeah, I'm blessed in that regard. Let me go back. Excuse me. Will you ever make a large Star Wars MOX? I have, and I'm looking over here because I have, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 Star Wars sets, ranging from the Millennium Falcon to pretty much all the ships. And I don't have UCS stuff, but I have all the ships. Like I have 2 X-wings, an A-wing, a Y-wing, an EFG wing. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of ships. And then I have the Ewok Village. I don't have a TIE fighter, though, and I really want to get my hands on a TIE fighter. But I pretty much just collected Star Wars ships. So I was thinking about doing a mock, because I have the Figsdale Space Center, and I was thinking about making one of those ships, whether it's an X-wing, whether it's something like that, kind of have a crash landing site at that space center, because I do have some room back there, and I was kind of thinking of making some, kind of a crash landing site, and then kind of the Earth coming up and some stuff like that. So I'll see, but again, that's something that it takes time. Will I buy the grand piano? I will not be buying the grand piano. Excuse me, because I don't. My wife currently, because of the pandemic, my wife's company went out of business, and so she's unemployed at the moment. And she was a chief marketing officer for a company, a startup, and it didn't make it. So anyway, so I won't be buying that, because I only have so much Lego budget, and so that's why I'm actually thinking about maybe even a Patreon or something like that, or a YouTube memberships. I don't know if I want to go that route, because I'm not in it for the money. I'm very blessed with my life, but I might do that just in case anybody is interested, and then just use all that money. For instance, if somebody does a super chat right now, for instance, I take that and mark it down, and that goes directly toward the purchase of another set. So anyway, that the piano is just too expensive. It's too expensive. It's gorgeous. Are just unbelievable for having built that. But I can't afford it right now. All right, let's see. Budget questions. Would you say 3 digits or 4 digits to create a city like yours. Well, I'm not, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yeah. And also because I have a great alarm system and a 90-pound dog. That so, so my house is and cameras all around my house. My house is well protected, but I'm not ashamed to admit it. But let's just say it's all of this stuff that I've accumulated probably is in the 5-figure range. Let's see here. Bricks, I'm glad to see you. And don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged with your subscriber count. One of the things that I know I go back and forth with my fellow AFOLs and my friends, and some of my friends have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Some of my friends have 50. And what I always tell them is, one, you're not going to make, I always think I'm not going to make my living from YouTube. And other people have done that. I mean, Jang does it, and Greg, the Brickatech, does it. And they're just phenomenal human beings. And that's why, because it comes out. But I'm not going to make my living from it. So I'm not so concerned about the advertising revenue and the subscribers. But what matters to me is the minutes viewed of videos, and that's my own personal metric that I keep. And YouTube gives me that information, but that's my own personal kind of excitement when I see the fact that we have almost 200 or 2 million minutes viewed of the videos. There's only, I don't know, 150, 160,000 views, but people are watching my videos for 8, 9, 10, 15 minutes at a time. And that to me is more important to me than my subscriber count. And that doesn't mean that that I don't care about subscribers. I don't love you all. I'm very thankful and very happy and humbled. But the fact that you all are watching my videos, as opposed to spending time doing something else in the world, is very humbling, and is just makes my heart feel very good. So that's what I look at. I can also tell you that it takes time to build a channel. The best way to build a channel that I found is to be engaged in the community, is to go on other channels and comment and make substantive comments. Don't just put first or last or second or something like that, or just amazing. Go in and talk. Have a discussion. Say, I really like the way the corner of that building looks. How did you do that? And engage the YouTuber. And what that does is other people will look at those comments as well as they're viewing someone's videos, and they'll see that, and they'll see that you are legitimately engaged as a Lego hobbyist. And they'll go and check out your channel. And then when they check out your channel, they might comment on your channel, and then it just builds from there. And then somebody might say, I know, for instance, Greg, Brickatech, when I was first starting out, I had made a video because I just thought he and Clark were just amazing human beings. And I made a video and I mentioned him, and I put his little logo in my park, my kids' park in Figsdale. And he mentioned that in one of his video because of that mention. And I didn't ask for it. And I wasn't thinking about it when I had, done that video. But I was just saying it, kind of from the heart that, hey, I love Greg. He's a great channel and a great person. But so that's what I would encourage you to do. So if you're thinking about starting a channel, or you have started a channel and it's not growing quick enough, be engaged with other channels. Go down and look at look at the comments on other people's videos, and then comment on the comments, and comment on the video and things like that. So anyway, let's see here. All right. Larger mods would fit in terms of, you really have to gauge kind of the way this city is in terms of whether larger mods will fit with modulars and stuff. There are some people who do it wonderfully, and Daryl Bevan's Bricks channel, he does a great job of integrating just massive mocks with a few modulars. And he's done it by kind of segmenting the modulars in certain areas. And Adrian, my stepson, is really, really good at this. He can take a look at a modular and he can see what kind of thing needs to go next to it, just by kind of lining them up. And we've spent several times, and he spent a lot of time, but we spent a lot of time, putting buildings next to each other and seeing how they look. For instance, at one point I had the brick bank on the main street in Figsdale, and Adrian looked at that and he said, this would look better over here. And he literally just kind of took it and put it over there. And I'm like, I don't know about that. But then after I started looking at it, it looked better with the modular, the mock area than it with the modulars. So you really just kind of have to, it's a great thing about Lego. Pick it up, move it around. It doesn't look good, move it somewhere else. Any plans on adding new themes or sections to the city? I do have my large Eastern area with my Ninjago and Chinese sets, but I don't have the tables right now. And unfortunately, because again, I'm homebound, I can't go to IKEA, which is only 7 miles down the road, and they don't have every other place in the United States has has a drop-off service where you can drive your car right up and they'll put it right in your trunk and you don't have to contact people. They don't have it. And so I can't do that. I have to actually have them shipped from IKEA, which is expensive. So until I can get more tables, I'm not going to be able to build that district. Another district that I want to build in Figsdale is I want to expand my Apocalypseburg area and make that more of a junkyard looking area. I actually bought an Ninjago set that is the Dragon Gate. And the Dragon Gate, I think, will actually take some of the Ninjago stuff out of it, the Ninjago theme stuff, and just use that gate. I think that is going to look really good surrounding my Apocalypseburg area. But I also have stuff up on my shelf. I have a whole airport mock that Adrian and I built that we want to expand on. So I plan on building a kind of a transportation hub. We have the train tracks going back there, and that will connect to the Space Center. It'll connect to the airport once we get the tables to do that. And so it'll be kind of an intermodal type of area. And then we'll be able to connect our tracks. Let's see, mention that. Basically what I have done, and I'm looking down here because there is an entire, probably it's a bin about this big, and it's full of Duplo. And it's from when my daughter and my stepson were babies and little kids, real little. And I collected just a whole bunch of Duplo. And so you can start by building your mountain or your hills with Duplo bricks, and then you can fill in with standard system Lego bricks. And that way, that gives you a great foundation. Duplo you can buy used, you can buy off of Facebook, you can buy from yard sales, you can buy them off of eBay real cheap. Used bulk Duplo, because again, it's one of those things to where unless you're a really into the Lego hobby, once you get done with Duplo, you look at them and you're like, my kids are old, they don't need this anymore. So try that. And then of course, burp pieces, the big ugly rock pieces, are good for starting some of your Lego work. And then just a lot of gray, dark gray, light bluish gray, all different colors, gray, tan. If you're doing more of a Western area, maybe some dark orange, things like that. Slopes, just tons of slopes in different directions, different orientations and things like that, and just kind of start stacking them on top of that Duplo base. All right. Well, thank you very much, Shay the Brick Creator. Appreciate you subbing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Let me ask another question. Here's one from Hazel K. She says, can you, let's see here. Oh, she says, what is Piper's favorite food that's not a dessert? That's a good question. My daughter Piper, who really started out on the channel with me, and she's grown the past couple of years, and she's now kind of a tween who is doing her own thing and other stuff now that she's almost 10. But her favorite food is, as far as I know, is chicken tenders. That's not a dessert. So that's the answer to that one. My favorite part of my city. The favorite part of my city, huh? The favorite, I know what my favorite mock is, or my favorite building in the entire everything I own. My favorite building is Smitty's Auto Repair Center. That's a mock that I built to celebrate me and my 3 adult children who, when they were kids, we built a auto repair center in our Lego city that we had back in '90s when I was a young dad, and I built the. I built the Smitty's Center because with modern parts and technology and stuff like that, that's my favorite mock because it reminds me of when my older kids, who are now grown, and I have a grandson now, and 2 kids married, and it just reminds me of when we played back then. So let's see. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying the conversation. It's amazing. I really appreciate everyone staying on here. That is awesome. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss answer. Is someone already asked this? How much in your city is original versus mocks? Original versus mocks. I probably have right now about 65% of the city are sets, Lego sets. And those Lego sets, I would say almost 100% of those, well, not 100, because I'm looking at the modulars. But I would say probably about 75% of those Lego sets are modified in some way. In other words, they have something that's attached to them or built on them or are taken off or moved around or are mirrored or whatever. Because one of the things that I like to do is take something that Lego has made, which is really, really cool and really great, and embellish it and make it kind of fit into other things, like I did with the latest with my Joker Manor, where it's a really cool set, but I added a canopy over top of the ride where you enter. I added a whole bunch of stuff around the sides of it. I actually added more since that video now, where there's a game room and arcade and stuff like that. And so I like to embellish stuff. So I do also like to mock, and I think of my Space Center, that's 3 mocks, 4 mocks just in the Space Center. I have a great Mexican restaurant. I mocked the Chinese restaurant. Did the Lego Discovery Center. I'm just kind of looking here. Just the Friends set, so I've taken, in other words, they're all based on something, obviously, and that's what Lego's about. But I try to, I looked at the Friends set, for instance, and I'm like, well, let's just build a building. And so we made a 2-story building out of it. I looked at, after we had disintegrated or torn apart the Simpsons house, we had so many bricks that I was like, okay, well, let's make a Mexican restaurant. Let's make a tiki restaurant, tiki club, and let's make some pirate stuff. And so that's what we did. So yeah. Is there a set that I missed and regret it now to not buy it back then? Oh my gosh. And it's funny that your name is Monorail Manford, because Monorail is probably my favorite set. And it's one I was telling Greg, my buddy, GJ Bricks, I was telling him, texting him, and I said, because he was able to score a Monorail, and I said, as much as I purchased over the past 6 months, I could have bought several Monorails, but for some reason I don't think of it that way. So anyway, I'm trying to what set would I wish that I had. I'll tell you what, there are some sets that I did have that I miss, and I wish that I still had. I mentioned my kids, my adult kids, when they were little, and when I was a young dad and they were little, we had a really nice city. And I think I may have, way back, if you scrolled way down to the beginning of my channel, I think I might have a retro video that shows that city. And it was pretty big. It wasn't like Figsdale, but it was pretty big. And we had purchased a lot of sets. And we got up to about 100 sets that we had purchased, and that my parents, had bought the kids as Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and stuff. We had a phenomenal 9-volt train system, and all of the cool stuff with the level crossings and all of the gantries and all the cool stuff that they used to make back then with the trains. And we had a bunch of Star Wars, all the original Star Wars sets that came out in '99. We had the original pirate ships that came out back in the '90s. We had some of the Western sets that came out in the '90s. But I came on financial hard times, and the kids were turned into teenagers, and I had to sell that Lego collection because I had to, support my family and pay the mortgage type of thing during that time. So I sold all of that stuff, and I wish I still had some of that. Like I had the original X-wing, and some of that stuff, the original R2-D2, and all that stuff. So anything from like '95 to 2001, all of those sets, I pretty much had all of those, and I do miss those. I wish I still had them. Besides the monorail, what's your grail piece? The one set you haven't gotten but always wanted? Yeah, this is a question I knew everyone was going to ask. I should have prepared for it. Because that is the Holy Grail set. But I up until a couple months ago, I had wanted Fort Legoredo, but I found one and I was able to get it. Which one do I really want? Boy, I'll tell you, I would say probably, that's a really tough one. I know what it is. It's the Technic Roadster from the late '90s. I don't know what it's called, what the actual name of it is, but there was a Roadster, a hot rod, and I'm a car guy. I had my family. We restored cars, done stuff. I had a '68 Mustang. I gave it to my son. I had a '68 Mustang since high school. I gave it to my son, my oldest son, a few years ago. It came from my dad, so we're really into cars. But there was a Roadster. There was a Technic Roadster that came out in the late '90s. And I think it's just a small one, but I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I wanted to get it, and I saw it at the Disney store when I was down at Disney World. I think it was like in '98 or something, may have been sooner. But anyway, I've looked it up, and it's about $1,600. That's the cheapest price that I've been able to see it. And so I won't be getting that. So yeah, that would be kind of my set that I would love to have. All right, let's see. I know, that's right, Jeff. Yeah, everyone's asking me the tough. They're grilling me. Y'all are grilling me, man. I love it. Hey, Lasse, how you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. How did you become so? Oh, thank you very much. How did you become so awesome? I'm not awesome, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Was I born that way or somewhat Lego related? I don't know, but thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. That's great. Hey, Mason, how you doing? Good to see you. The model team one. Yes, that's right, Greg. It's a model team. Yeah, it's a model team one, and it's small, but it's so expensive now. Instead of buying that one, I bought the big rig, and the big red and black rig, and I still have it actually. It's in a bag somewhere on the shelf, and I want to rebuild it, but it's huge. I mean, it's really, really a big one. The model team one. I have that, and I also have the space shuttle, which has just gone up in price tremendously. I have that in my office at the university, which I actually haven't seen for 6 months because I've been home with because of the pandemic and stuff. So it's in my university office, but I look at it when I've looked at it before when I've been in the office, and I'm just like, wow, that model is really cool. It's the one with the hydraulics, and it lifts, and it has the fiber optics in it and everything like that. All right, Jeff asks a question. Have you ever heard that the moment that a lot that AFOLs have, myself included, where you're asked, what the heck am I even doing anymore? Why am I even bothering with this? How do you push through? You know what? That's actually a very good question and very serious question. And I think I take that when I listen to or read your question, I take that twofold. One, just as a human being now, given all the stuff that's going on in life and the world, and two, as an AFOL, going, you know what? I have all of this plastic sitting around here, and why? You know, for me, the way I push through it is, you know, I do, well, the way I push through life, and I think I did a video on this a couple weeks ago, is by coming down here in all of this and actually building, because, you know, my world here in Lego is virus free, it's hate free, it's free of a lot of the drama. Well, it's free of all drama, right? The only drama that exists are the drama that me and Piper do in, you know, in our stories, and Adrian. So I do that to get away from the world and to kind of chill, and just relax. In terms of being an AFOL, I get that feeling sometimes, and I've talked with some of my other AFOL friends, where it's like, you know, I just don't feel like building. I just don't feel like it. I come down here and I'm like, you know, I'm kind of, you know, what kind of video am I going to do today? Uh-oh, it says we're unstable. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I hope I'm still on the screen. But my kids are probably booting up their Xboxes right now. But anyway, you know, the way I get through it is I go and I do something else. So I also like to game, speaking of the Xbox, so I'll go and I'll play an Xbox game. I also like to do other stuff. So I'll go and, you know, repair the toilet, you know, I mean, do some real world stuff, and, you know, go and do some stuff around the house or whatever. It's really easy to get caught up in, you know, doing Lego all the time. But I try to balance that out. And so that's why sometimes you'll see videos that are like, wow, that's a great video. And I appreciate all those comments. And sometimes, you know, I'll throw a video out there and it'll get maybe 500 views, and people will be like, I don't really care about that little set, or I don't want to see that or whatever. But you know, you just kind of have to push through it by balancing it and knowing that Lego should not be your entire life. But you know, it's a part of life, and there's so many other parts of life that can be enjoyed even in this time that we live in. And so that's how I do it. You know, go hang out with Piper. I go hang out with you know, with my wife, or go watch a show, you know, on Netflix, or do something, or go to a park, you know, and stare at the trees and stuff, play with my dog. So that's kind of how I balance the AFOL stuff with and then what, and I'll promise I'll stop this and we'll get back into the questions. And then what happens, I've noticed, is that then when I do start to build, I get more inspiration for mocks. I get more inspiration for doing a video that's a really cool video, at least in my mind. And so it makes me, you know, I can build, like, you know, people are asking me sometimes, they're like, how do you build so much and put in your city updates all the time? It's like, I just get this inspiration because I'm energized because I've done other things that aren't related to Lego. So anyway, I'll stop with that. My favorite Xbox game of all time is Fallout 4. Fallout 4. My family's from West Virginia, so Fallout 76 we were so excited because it's like, wow, West Virginia. No, Fallout 76 sucks. At least it did. It's getting a little bit better. But Fallout 4 is my favorite video game. My second favorite video game is Red Dead Redemption 2. So yeah, I love those two games. All right, let me get back into some other questions here, because there are some other questions I know people are wanting to know, and they took the time, so I want to answer them. I appreciate everyone hanging out. This is great. I mean, this is absolutely awesome. DrMcBrick, good to see you. I see you up there. I apologize. I'm trying to get through everybody there. It's hard to find everybody's name as they're scrolling down through here. Let's see here. Suggestions for budding YouTuber. Already kind of talked about that. The best thing to do is be engaged in the community. Let's see here. Who is my most influential Lego YouTuber that inspired me? Okay. This is from David Martinez, who actually has several questions, and they're very good questions. So who is my favorite Lego YouTuber? The person who inspired me was Jang Bricks. And I basically, what happened was I saw him on a doing his mall video, the video of his mall that he did many years ago. And my daughter and Piper and Adrian said, hey, Dad, check this out. And I watched it, and I was like, you know what? I love this. This is great. I would love to do something like this. And so I started watching more of his videos. And then I started watching the people who he followed and the people who commented on his videos. And it just kind of spiraled. I saw Brickzar. I saw very early on Brickatect, Greg, and those three people, Jang, Brickzar, and Greg from Brickatect, and Clark, were the people were the YouTubers who inspired me. Second question he asks, is there a theme that I wish Lego made or would remake? I wish they would go, and I hope they are starting to, but I wish they would go deeper into the pirates. I also wish that they would bring back Johnny Thunder and all of the adventurers, because as you can tell from my 6 Figs, I love the Adventurers series. Let's see. Is your wife into Lego like you are? No. No, she's not, and she's very supportive. And as a matter of fact, there's a kind of a trend in the AFOL community now. I think Alex Noons, I think, started it, but of having our wives talk about kind of our Lego hobby and stuff. Well, actually, I think Brickatect really started it, because Mrs. Brickatect was involved in a lot of his videos. But my wife's agreed to do a video with me, for me asking her questions about what it's like to be the spouse of an AFOL and stuff. And I think some of my AFOL friends out there, I'll challenge any of you to do the same with your wives. I know Daryl's trying to get his, on Bevan's Bricks, trying to get his wife to do a video, and some other people. So she's not into it, but she's supportive. She has her hobbies, you know. The one thing, she got into it much more once I got asked to try out for Lego Masters, and once I started going through the process and I got down to a finalist, excuse me, she really got into it. She told me, she said, at that point I realized that what you're doing is more than just playing with Lego. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, exactly. And so that really, and again, she was a chief marketing officer. So, you know, I tried to get her to do my marketing for me, to help me out, but I didn't make it on Lego Masters. I was right at the end. I just didn't have it, I guess. But anyway, but at that point she realized, okay, you're doing more than just sitting down there playing. Last question here from David. What was your first minifigure that I ever got? Was a Luke Skywalker. My first minifigure, my first minifigure. No, my first minifigure was the police officer. The legit OG police officer was the first minifigure I got back in the 70s. All right, let me catch up here if anybody's come in there. Welcome to Euphoria. Do you think Lego is going in the right direction with its 18+ set? Having owned a company in the past, not anything near Lego. I owned a small company, a tech company back in the 90s, that I ended up selling, and you know, and did real well. It was a great company at the time. But so from a businessman standpoint, yes, it is a great idea, because 18+ are the people that have the money. People like me have $300 to drop on a piano, $330 US, right? Excuse me. I wish my voice. And you know, so yeah, so the AFOL community is where the cash is. From a business standpoint, it makes sense to go that way. From a philosophical standpoint, from a standpoint of how this piece of plastic that this company produces changes lives and affects people in ways that go far beyond, I have a nice shiny piano to sit on my shelf. It doesn't make as much sense in terms of, you know, the heart of, and this is just me talking. This is just me. Again, I was just a small businessman. I didn't have, you know, one of the biggest companies on earth. But I wish I did, then I'd buy more Lego. But for me, the way I see it is what matters is the reason Lego has been around, at least in my opinion, for so long, the system, is because it speaks to the heart. And the way it speaks to the heart comes through me when I was a little kid back in the early 70s, right? It actually comes from, you know, the fact that that meant something to me, and this is how I spent my days as a little kid. So I would hope, and I'm pretty sure they are. Obviously, they're not stupid. But I would think that they, the focus on kids is more important than the focus on adults. The focus on adults is a business decision. There's money there. There's money in the AFOL market. Let's do that. But focusing on kids and getting kids to play with the brick and getting kids to internalize the brick as part of who they are, as part of their heart, their soul, that sort of thing, will then make that kid, when they're 55, 54, like me, they'll make that kid then buy more Lego bricks. And so then Lego will be a company that's 140 years old as opposed to just 80 years old, right? Or however old they are. So yeah, so that's kind of my philosophical idea about those sets. So I think the sets are great, but those sets obviously aren't for 13-year-old kids. Let's see. All right. We're going to keep going here. We're going to keep going. It's our second hour. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. I love this button here. I can just press this button and there's a message that pops out right there. That's really cool. Let me see if I can answer some more questions. I did find out. Let's see. Lego is 92. Thank you very much. So yeah, if Lego wants to be 184, gosh, today's world, I don't even know if we can think about that. But if Lego wants to last another 50 years and keep people from buying off brands and keep people from going into tech so much that they don't care about the actual physicality of the brick, they need to make sure that they put their heart into kids and and do more than pay it lip service, but actually make I can be an explorer and I can do stuff all around the world in my head, in my playroom, in my bedroom. That's what they need to do, and that will propel them farther as a business, I believe, in the long term. Short term, you need money, do the 18 plus sets, make cost $1 bajillion, and people will buy them. All right, I'll get off of that soapbox. Thank you very much. Brick Bakery says, congratulations on hitting 3,000. We're a little bit farther than that now. I'm so excited. Hope you get more subs. Thanks. My question, will you ever expand the city with skyscrapers? A good question. I've been asked this. Adrian really wants to do a skyscraper, and I don't have the heart to say no. I mean, it's as much his city as it is mine. He's been so integral in this, and Adrian is just a phenomenal kid. He's got so many special talents, and Lego building is one of them. So he wants to build a skyscraper, so we will have a skyscraper in I keep saying 6 Figs. It's probably because 6 Figs now is twice the size of Figsdale. Let's see here. What other questions do we have here? Let's go back to what you all are saying. 88. Well, 92, 98, 88, it's all the same, right? Yeah, the history of Lego is amazing. It's an amazing company. The company has a heart. The company, has a soul, and I hope that the company doesn't get away from that. I don't think they are. I know some people say, well, they're doing this and they're doing this and they're leaving these people behind and stuff. I think they still have a heart and a soul, but we also live in 2020. We live in unbelievably crazy and unstable times on Earth, and not just from this virus, but from other things. And so Lego has to do what they have to do, to be a company and to take care of their employees, to take care of themselves. So I think they're doing it. Train set. My favorite train set is the red, white, and blue. It's almost Amtrak looking train. It's from the 90s. It was a 9-volt, I believe. I forget what it's called. If anybody knows what it's called, let me know out there. But it's the one that has the passenger car that kind of goes up like this, and it's a double-decker passenger car. I love that one. I love that set. Greg, you're out there. GJ, you probably know what train that is. The one that has is it Santa Fe? Metroliner. That's it, the Metroliner. Yep, that's my favorite train. I did have that one. I ended up selling that in my first Dark Age. Thanks a lot, Brooks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. This is great. We have 29 people on. This is wonderful. I'm excited folks are here. Let's see what other questions we have. what happened to my channel that I didn't expect? What happened being a YouTuber on my channel that you didn't expect? I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the fact that there would be all of you great people who would be watching this, who would be sitting here talking with me, and we'd be engaging in something we love. I just expected kind of just to throw it out there and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, guys. Here's my, here's my love, one of my passions. Take a look. And I just thought I would just be providing eye candy in terms of my builds and stuff and things. I didn't expect to develop, a best friend out of this, but I did. I didn't expect to get out of my depression, and I've been very clear about that in my last video, a couple videos ago, that I did. I was clinically depressed. I didn't expect to get out of that. I tried in life to just kind of move forward, but sometimes we all have issues. And so anyway, yeah, the YouTube channel helped because I engaged in the community. So that's what I got out of it. I also have gotten a lot of, just by the sheer building of Lego, you get so many things. You learn so many tips, and so many tricks. And even if you don't learn it from somebody else, as you're sitting there looking at stuff, you say, oh, this can go this way, this can go this way. I'm not a real big believer in illegal builds. I know there are standards, and of course I build to standards. But if something works for me, I do it. And I probably do have some illegal builds somewhere. Don't tell the police, somewhere, the Lego police, somewhere in my city, but I just do it if it works. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Welcome to Euphoria. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, sticker on multiple pieces. Yeah, I don't like to do that either. The main reason is because I don't want to go through the bricks, right? I don't want to use the bricks. The Western sets, they all came, and I'm actually getting ready to do, probably this weekend, I'll do a mock-up of the Gold City Junction for my Western series that I've been doing. It doesn't get a lot of views, but I like it, and the people who watch it, I think, really get something out of it. At least that's what they told me. So I'll continue to do that. Let's see. Another question. Am I a real doctor? I am not a medical doctor, but I do have a PhD. So I'm a real doctor, I guess. I have a doctorate, but my PhD is not, my PhD is not medicine. I don't have an MD or anything like that. So I am not a medical professional. But I am a professor. That's what I do. I love that. I've been a full-time professor for 22 years. Before that, I mentioned I owned a tech company. My company specialized, this was way back in the day, back when websites were kind of hard to build, back in the early 90s when the web first became commercial. I started developing websites for companies with shopping cart systems. And gosh, I wish I had unfortunately, I didn't develop very good shopping cart systems, or else, I would have been in Elon Musk type of range. But yeah, anyway, I did well. And I did a lot of online education stuff back in the 90s, and that wasn't being done then. And so that company just kind of grew. Ended up selling that company right before the dot-com bust in the late 90s. And then I had a PhD, and so I had always been taught kind of as a part-time professor. And so because I had a PhD, and because I was teaching for a university at the time, and because I had developed these online education systems for training and stuff, the university that I'm at now hired me and said, hey, can you come up and work for us? Can you help us out in terms of developing some online stuff, because that's where we're headed. And so the university I work at has been doing online education for 25 years. It's actually, it's a regular university. We have a campus, and it's been around since the early 1900s, nonprofit, all that kind of stuff. But and we have thousands of students, but we don't have any sports teams or anything like that. But the great thing is that with this pandemic, our university has not stopped. So I'm very, very blessed and very fortunate because we've been able to continue, because we've been doing online education, for 2 decades, where most people now are just going like, oh my gosh, we have to do online education now because we have quarantine and all that stuff. So yeah, let's see. Do I like PewDiePie? I don't have a problem with PewDiePie. I don't really follow him. I don't subscribe to his channel. But I have watched his videos. I love Minecraft. I think he was a big Minecrafter. I think that's how he got his start. To be honest with you, it sounds strange, but because of Piper, she started watching videos on YouTube way back, Video Kids and all, or YouTube Kids and all this stuff. Back when she was really little, we just would watch some family YouTubers together. And so some of my favorite YouTubers to begin with were like, little kid YouTubers that would do little kids videos, girls videos, for little girls, like the Shopkins and the little videos like that. Because that's what I watched with Piper when she was little. So those were the only YouTubers I really knew. And then I realized, wait a minute, they're like, I can go and figure out how to fix my lawnmower on YouTube. I can go and figure out, so I got into YouTube because I was watching these little videos of Piper's, playing with her little dolls and stuff, or these people on, these YouTubers who were playing, the Tube family, for instance, Evan Tube, those people, that family, watch them. They were some big ones that I watched. Do you think the adventures are going to come back? Boy, I'll show you what, Francisco, that is a good question. I sure wish they would. And it's great to see you from Chile. That is wonderful. That's a beautiful area. My wife and I we weren't in Chile, but we were close. And down in Central America, for a couple week vacation, but we didn't get down to Chile, but it's just gorgeous the farther south you go in South America and Latin America and everything. So let's see, where was I? What was I talking about? The Adventurers. I sure hope they come back. It would be great to see them not remake the Adventurers, but just come up with another Johnny Thunder adventure, right? And so don't go, you don't have to go back to Egypt and all of those things, but think of something else. What would be another great adventure that Johnny Thunder could go on? And then bring it out, because it's not an IP, right? It's not intellectual property like Star Wars. And I know the licenses, that's one disappointment I've had with Lego, is that they've done more and more and more, with the exception of the Monkey Kid now coming out, which is great, licensed stuff, because that's where the money is, and that's where it's at. But they wouldn't have that if they did Johnny Thunder, because that's their own IP. So what are some other places on Earth that Johnny Thunder could do? What are some other adventures that he could go to, and that maybe that he has another person with him, a few women with him as well, and a few other guys and people, from different areas of the world, and there's a team and stuff. And so it's not a homogenous team, but it's a very multi-dimensional team. That would be a really cool theme, I think. Rainforest. Yeah, that's an idea. Sure, that's an idea. Yeah. That's a great idea. In Central America, we were in Belize. And loved Belize. Loved Belize. Do I have a Lego dog? No, I do not. No, I do not. Let's see. I do have a dog, but I don't have a Lego dog. Let's see. Looking at two different things here. What was my original intention for starting the channel? My original intention, I think I mentioned, just basically hanging or showing people what I had built. See you later, McEarl family. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, a surfing trip. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. I love snorkeling down there. I loved actually we went out, we got this guy who had this fishing boat, just a little fishing boat, my wife and I, and he went out, ended up catching some barracuda, and we literally motored over to this little kind of deserted island. I don't know why. It wasn't really like a it was just a little outcropping or whatever, but it was away from the mainland. And we literally started a campfire and cut the fish up and cooked it and just had it was great. I mean, it was great. We had a wonderful time. You could do it. You could do like a Dungeons and Dragons Johnny Thunder type of stuff. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. To be honest with you, I really like, and it's a licensed product, I know, but I like the Minecraft stuff. I have a whole bunch of Minecraft. Piper and I and Adrian have spent 7 years building a Minecraft realm, and it's pretty extensive. That was actually one of the things I was thinking about doing if people were interested in either doing a Patreon or a membership, that at a certain tier, would give you access to that realm that we've built. And it's actually a city. So it's a city just like Figsdale, just like everything else, but it's really involved. And I've thought of putting up on Minecraft store. But anyway, the Minecraft Lego sets, I have the past three years of them, plus the beginning sets from 5-6 years ago. And so I literally have enough to do an entire city just with Minecraft. And so I want to start that. I know Brickitect and Clarkman have been doing that, and they've been having a ball. And so I want to do that as well. What is the mock you have worked the most in terms of time? I think the mock that I spent the most time on was Smitty's Auto Repair Shop. The reason I say that is because I did it in studio, and that just took time because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. I would say in terms of just actual like sitting down here in the Lego in the Lego room and building, my Space Center was the one that took the most time to build. And I'm still working on it. I still have a shuttle simulator that I promised everybody that I haven't done yet. So I will get to that. Let's see. I'm trying to read here. Journey to the center of the earth. I like that idea, Francisco. I like that idea. That would be cool. Johnny Thunder and his gang go to the center of the earth. That would be awesome. And you could bring back things like Rock Raiders. You could do all kinds of stuff with that. You could really kind of tie in a whole bunch of different themes that Lego has, that's their original property, that aren't licenses. And you could put all of those together and kind of in a mashup that would really be cool. I like that. That's a great idea, Francisco. You should get royalties if they ever do that, man. That's an awesome idea. Let's see if I can go back here a little bit. Thank you. Thank you very much for all your support. I mean, I do really appreciate. Thank you for the wonderful comments. They really do mean a lot. Let's see here. What are some other? Why do you tell stories when you show your Legos? That's a great question. That's a great question. I think. Well, I'm a story-driven person. One, I teach popular culture. I'm a humanities professor. I teach that kind of stuff, stories, narrative. And when it goes all the way back to when I was a kid, sitting on that floor with that blue piece of carpet and all my little Lego sets around it as a city, I would tell stories in my head, and I would tell stories to my friends. My friends would come over and we would make stories. Any of you who are kids or have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Your kids will make up stories. I never stopped doing that. And so when I started building this Lego city, I thought to myself, watching Lego cities and seeing how they are is really cool. And you get to see all the great eye candy and all of the stuff. But wouldn't it be neat if every time I showed my city, I came up with different stories? And so in other words, it's alive. The city is alive. Instead of just having a diorama, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And instead of just having scenes that are static, let's have some real life stuff, and let's change it up. And that became kind of my MO. That became kind of what I do. And other people do that too. And I know other people have started to do that more and more. And but I like that idea of having a dynamic city. In instance, Brick Bakery, Jacob, he does this. He's starting to do the same thing too, where he tells stories about his city. And so, I would encourage any of you that are starting a Lego city, or have one, to think about the stories behind it. Think about where these figs live and what they do and how they operate. One of the things that I will be doing, and now that I have a kind of a city of critical mass, is I've developed an entire narrative, and really could even write half a book now with all the stuff I have in my head about why Six Figs, the theme park, developed so huge in relationship to the city, and what, why that is. And so I will be coming up with a video and kind of telling the story about how Six Figs came about and how the city of Figsdale popped up, and just pretending like, hey, if this were a real city in life, it would have a history, right? Figsdale started with Figsdale Gulch, which is my western town that I'm beginning to develop. And so, so kind of making the story of Figsdale Gulch and how that came about, and why people settled in this area, and why they did this, and why they built up this stuff around the Bay of Figs and that sort of thing. So telling the stories I think are really, really important. It could be 6 founders. It's actually 1 founder that I'll give you a hint on. You might have an idea who that founder might be, but he's a very wealthy, and he bought up all the land outside of Figsdale, and decided to build an amusement park. So might sound familiar to you. Actually, it's not an original story, but anyway, I'll do a video on that sometime. But yeah, stories are really important to me, and I hope that you all like them, and I hope that people who watch my videos, particularly my city updates and my Six Figs updates, I hope that you appreciate those stories. Lego cruisers would be cool. Write a book for the city. I thought about that, and I thought about actually even not necessarily a book. It would be kind of cool though to do a book. Now that I think about it, because that could be a real fun book. And they definitely have the characters that are based off of it and stuff, and enough content now to write it. But I also thought about a blog as well, and just kind of blog, kind of a daily, not a daily, but like a weekly newspaper or something like that, journal, as to what's going on in the city, things like that. So, boy, I'm still amazed at the fact that we have 23 people in the chat, and that's been like, we haven't like dipped under 23 or under 22 since for like an hour. So thank you so much for sticking with. Let's see. 2 questions. The horror film that Piper was talking about. Yes, Piper, actually, we had teased this a little bit, that Piper was going to do a horror film, and she got all excited about doing it. She's kind of she's really into acting and doing things, directing and stuff like that. She's been in a bunch of plays here in our community. But she told me that she's kind of lost interest in it. So if you were thinking about it, if you were hoping for it, I'm sorry. She said she might get back to it. But again, she's in that age, 9, 10-ish, that's just kind of like changing and just trying to figure out, okay, it's boring now, I'm going to go do this. So yeah, so I think she'll come back to it. But for now she's done with it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the smaller intimate chats are better in a lot of ways. You get it's just one, the YouTuber can't follow along, right? Even if there's 5 or 6 people in on the screen, they can't follow along, and then the people who are in the chat can't follow as well. What plans do I have for my city? Plan an airport. Got an airport planned. We got a skyscraper planned. We have the Western world planned. We have a Minecraft area that's going to be extra. It's not going to be part of Figsdale or Six Figs because I just don't have the room. So I'm going to have to put it in a different part of my house. But it will. Don't tell my wife. It will be a Minecraft world. What other plans do I have? I'm looking at some of the sets I have. Going to. I haven't mentioned this lately. I mentioned it a long time ago, but we're going to have a racetrack. I'm using the classic vintage Shell Raceway that Lego came out with that I have sitting on my shelf. We're going to do that. So Adrian is really big into racing. He loves the racing, and so we need to put that in there. Let's see. Sig figs. Do you have any sig figs? I do have sig figs that I can send to people. Unfortunately, it's a little more difficult to send it out now because since I don't get out. And you know, I know it sounds kind of wimpy, but everything now for me, you know, is kind of a calculated risk when I go somewhere outside. Obviously, I stay around my house. I have a beautiful patio, and you know, I got a nice place to be able to hang out. But when I go somewhere, get in a car, and actually go somewhere, it's a calculated risk for me. The state and county in which I live is at the second highest level that it's ever been. Well, it's at the highest level it's ever been in terms of cases of the virus, and it's at the second highest level in terms of spread for the virus that it's ever been. Or that it could be. And so I need to protect myself and my family. So when I do go out, I wear my mask. I think, you know, you need to wear yours. You know, I hand sanitize about every 3 seconds. And I stay away from people. And that's hard because I am a people person. I love being around people. I've always been one of those people. Hey, how you doing? I come up, give you a hug, all that kind of stuff. That's me. And I haven't been able to do that in 6 months, and it's killing me. But I know that doing that could kill me for real. And so I don't. So anyway, so at some point I'll get to a point where, you know, I'll start to send things out. I'll start to be able to get viewer mail, do some things like that I was doing before. Could you do a video on how you build your trees? Which trees specifically, Pat, are you asking about, or just in general? Thank you, Rico. Thank you very much. Any particular trees that you're asking about in general? Because I have palm trees. Palm trees are the most I've done on my own. But yeah, I can do a video on that. I'll tell you, somebody who has a good video on that is somebody who has a smaller channel but has an unbelievable Instagram, is Heather's Bricks. Heather Bricks. She has I believe she has a video on how to build trees. Bevan's Bricks has a video on how to build trees, I believe. Yeah. Let's see. Could you do a video on how you build? Okay. What else here? Let's see. When is Figsdale going to be finished? I love that. It's like, dude, when are you going to stop yapping? Somebody said that. I had a comment like that. Somebody said that, and I got a kick out of it. I know it's probably a troll, but it's like, you know, it's like, when is this dude going to stop yapping? And I laugh at that stuff. It cracks me up. To be honest with you, I don't think Figsdale's ever going to be done in terms of the actual city and when it has to be done. I am literally, like, I don't know, the camera's here, literally 2 feet from this camera right here are the edge of the tables. And so I have no more room. To go. Now I do, there's probably about 15 feet behind me of basement. And so I could continue, I could just move everything, but I also have shelves back there with stuff on it, and I have a sump pump, and my cats have their litter boxes back there. So I need to have some space, you know? And so even though Figsdale might be done as far as it can expand, then what I want to do is start going through and go back to raising it up on Mills plates. And that has always been my intention, is to raise the city up and to start making hills and stuff. Right now, my narrative is that this is kind of at sea level, and it's a tropical town. And so that's why everything is flat. We'll go with that. Will I ever do a train mock? I did do a train mock. Adrian and I did a train mock. And the video, I think I might have, I don't know if I took it down or not because of COPPA. If I did, I'll put it back up and I'll just not monetize it. But it was Adrian built a train because it got tagged as a violation of COPPA, and it was a train for the space station or for the Space Center. And I used the blue cargo train that was from probably 6-7 years ago. And Adrian and I Adrian mostly had built 3 cars that were space related, one to hold the rockets, one to hold aliens, and one for something else. I forget what it was. And so, yeah, a research car. So we did do a train mock, and I have to check that video, go back in my old videos and see if you can find it. But I know that was tagged for COPPA violation. And so I think I may have turned it off. And so that's probably why you're not seeing it. I thought about building under the tables. Yeah. One thing that I will mention, and I know some people have mentioned this before, is one thing I would do differently is because I do use the IKEA tables and I like the fact that you can move them around and they're just good size and stuff, is I would latch them together, because now what's happening is just a little bump will knock them off and that makes a base plate move or something like that. So I think Greg, GJ Bricks, said that he duct tapes them or something around the legs so that they stay together. But that's one thing that I need to do, because also adding I'm either going to add worlds underneath, and I may do my Minecraft underneath like Jang did, or the problem is I have in my basement, as you know, any of you that follow me a long time, you know, my basement flooded. And so I don't want to have a bunch of Lego on the floor or close to the floor, because if it floods again, that's a big mess. And so I'll probably just end up getting skirting and putting it around the table so you don't see the legs, and then doing all my other builds elsewhere. But what I will do is make levels within the table on top of the tables I already have. So there will be levels to the city, particularly in 6 Figs. I would like to. I think a good amusement park is one with terrain, and one that has things up on hills and all that kind of stuff. And it just aesthetically looks good. Mine's flat, so I would like to make it much more hilly. Any trees, Pat? Okay. All right. Sure. But check out Bevan's, check out Heather's Bricks, and a whole bunch of different people have. If you Google Lego trees, there's a whole bunch of people that have videos on how to make trees. Really good ones. Is the best way? David asks, what's the best way to break out of a Lego dark age? Have more kids. That's what I did. No, seriously. I guess if you're feeling, I guess a lot of times people don't realize they're in a Lego dark age, right? Because it's kind of like I don't realize it, but we all, as an adult, especially, well, as anybody, teenager, adult, kid, whatever, we go past things in the store, we see things, or we see, like, you might see that piano at the Lego store at the mall or something, when you're allowed to go to the mall now, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. I would say expose yourself to Lego. Go to a Lego store, go to a Legoland Discovery Center, go on to Flickr or Pinterest and look up Lego, and just kind of expose yourself to all the different stuff that is out there in the Lego world. And that's going to kind of make you open up and to say, wow, because that's what I did. I was like, you know what? Look at all these other people who are my age or are a little bit younger, mostly a lot younger, but who are adults, and look at all the great stuff they're doing with Lego. And I used to, like I said, I used to restore cars. I used to woodwork. I have a whole bunch of woodworking tools and saws, and had a whole literally wood shop in my last house, in one of my houses I owned. So I did a lot of hobbies, but I thought, you know what, Lego's a lot cleaner. I don't have dust, I don't have paint, I don't have oil and everything like that. My nails, there's nothing wrong with that. And I love the smell of, like, an engine in a car, as you're working on it and stuff, grease and stuff. But Lego is so much cleaner, and it's a lot easier, and it's just about as expensive, though. It's probably more expensive than woodworking in some ways, and it's could be kind of as expensive as working on cars, except for you don't need such a big space. But yeah, I really don't know, other than just exposing yourself to more Lego is a big help. All right, if there's a Lego set you don't have that will be retiring soon. Yeah, I know the latest rounds of retiring sets. I think I have, actually, I know that I'm blessed. I think I have all of the sets that are retiring in this next wave. Pretty sure. So usually when I see a set's retiring, I might try to go buy an extra set, so that I can use it for parts. One of the things that you'll find is an AFOL, for those of you that are just coming out of your dark age or just starting, or even you probably know this if you are, is when I buy a set, for instance, I bought this set. Okay, I didn't buy it because I wanted a snow groomer. I bought it because I wanted these parts right here. Okay. And I wanted a bunch of these, and I could always use more red slopes, all that kind. I wouldn't make a very good weatherman, would I? More slopes and some things. So I looked at all of this, and I'm like, there are pieces in here, like this cannon, this 6-shooter piece and stuff. These are pieces that I really need. And so every set that I look at it from a part standpoint now, as opposed to, or in addition to looking at it as a, an aesthetic set, or a set that's fun to play with or build or whatever. The other thing that I started to do, and I got this from Robin Hood Bricks, who has an unbelievable channel. But I started to go to Lego to find on their website. But you can go, and when the new set comes out, you type in the number of the set, and it gives you every single piece that's in that set that's not licensed, that's in that set. And so now what I've started to do, and I have an order coming today, I'm so excited, is to, whenever Lego introduces a new set, I go to Bricks and Pieces, and I just go down and I see all of the things I want to buy. So with the Snow Groomer set, basically, I would go and I'd say, okay, enter the number into the Bricks and Pieces, and then I would just buy 100 of these track pieces, or whatever they're called, instead of buying the whole set. So instead of spending $19.99 for this set or whatever US, I may only spend $7. Make an ice world. That's a good idea. I think that would be beautiful. Lego Elves Forest. Yes, I do have, Francisco, I do have the Ewok Village. And as I've said in many of my videos, I'm going to be using the Ewok Village in tandem with the treehouse, the big treehouse, the idea set, and make that wrap around my Jurassic World, so that you have the big trees there. And I may even put the upside down from Stranger Things that I also have in that area. So there's just a bunch of different trees and a bunch of different Legos. And Anthony, I would love to do Hoth. I think the Hoth UCS set, while it's kind of a mess because it's just a whole bunch of stuff, I just think the whole Hoth aesthetic is really cool. And so yeah, I would love to do that. I don't know if any of you feel this way, and let me know if you do. But for me, sometimes I feel like, I'd like to just wipe it all out and do something else. In other words, get rid of Figsdale and make it all Star Wars, or get rid of Figsdale and make it all, elves or a jungle or something like that, right? And do something completely different, and I see where you have these wonderful creators and these wonderful sculptors at shows. Of course, we don't have shows now, but when we get back to having shows, Legos, shows and conventions and stuff, you see where they do these mocks, and they're so huge, and it's just one big scene, but within that scene, it's such artistry. I would like to do that, and that's kind of one of my goals in my Lego life, is to kind of do some sort of large scene that is static, but is like is kind of my opus, right? My artistic, work. I believe that the city and the amusement park are artistic, and it's kind of my art. It's the way I express myself. But I also have some ideas for doing some things, that would make great Flickr pages, right? That would look good in Blocks magazine type of thing. Just some of those that would look good on the convention floor. Just some of those. But I love the city because of the stories and because of the joy it brings to me and my family. So that's why I'm sticking with the city for now. Favorite mock, I mentioned that is my Smitty's auto repair shop. Thanks, Austin. A Goblin Village would be awesome. And that's the great thing too, is several of you are asking these questions and mentioning it and stuff, is that as I'm developing Six Figs, and I think this is why Six Figs has gotten much larger, because I start to realize that I can do more with Six Figs than I can with Figsdale, because Figsdale's a city. Cities have parameters, right? Buildings, police stations, fire stations, restaurants, they're there. An amusement park is fantasy. Disney World, Universal Studios, these are fantasies, right? So they can develop anything they want to within their boundaries, within their gates. And so that's what I've been trying to do with Six Figs. And it's just been a joy, because I can bring in Johnny Thunder. I can bring in Jurassic World. I could bring in the Joker. I could use some of the, the Ferris wheel and the roller coasters as main points to say, yes, this is an amusement park, but I can also do the Ewok Village, right? And make it, that sort of thing. And so in some ways, I have thought about, well, maybe Six Figs may end up just becoming the main part of what I do. So I don't know. If I got rid of Figsdale, I certainly would have a lot of room for a really cool amusement park. The piano is beautiful, but let's see, there's 29 difference less than a Lamborghini. Yeah, in the Lamborghini, I actually am not that interested in. Again, I'm a car lover. I love cars. I have the Bugatti, and I haven't built it yet. But I'm just not interested in the Lamborghini. So I save some money there too. My big thing that I want to get, and I can't get them here in the States because of all of the pandemic and all of the factories and stuff that have been closed, is I want the big boat. I like the big boat, the city stuff that they have. It was hard enough getting the Jurassic Indominus Rex set. But hopefully that'll get better. Well, hopefully just the world will get better. Yeah, I wish, their Lego track isn't that bad. Their roller coaster track. What I do wish, I did notice that in the Mario sets, if anyone noticed, there is a set in the Super Mario sets that are coming out that are still kind of curious to me. But there is one of the Mario things has two green straight roller coaster pieces. So that means that they're making the roller coaster track in green. And so those possibilities exist as well. So it would be great to have green roller coaster track. We have red, purple, and gray. It would be great to have green. In terms of where you can get the Western sets, I got mine off of eBay. And it is hard because sometimes you do try. I would look at Bricklink as well. The problem with Bricklink is by the time you pay shipping on a lot of stuff, especially if you're overseas, and you can't find it from a seller in your country, is that it's just as expensive as buying from eBay. But I was able to get my Western sets off of eBay, but it took me a couple months to look for them. And just to kind of like every day going through and just, calling through all of the garbage where they want to, they're asking exorbitant rates. But try, because there are people out there who do sell the Western stuff, and they don't try to milk you for the money. All right, Greg, it's been good seeing you. Good night, my friend. I will talk to you later. Thank you very much, Arthur. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thomas, do I have Lego planes? Yes, I do have Lego planes. I have 2 jets, and that's all at the moment. 2 jets. I have the red one that has that's all red with the red tail. The jet, and then the city one that's blue with blue and orange that came out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever. The new one I would like to get the cargo one. I would like to get that one. My favorite Lego sub themes. My favorite Lego sub themes are Islanders, space. Do I really have another one? I don't know. I mean, I think those. My favorite one is the Islanders that came out of the Pirate sets, I think, or the Johnny Thunder sets. I can't remember which one that came out of, but that's my favorite. And then the space. The space is my favorite sub theme. Oh, Aquazone. And Aquazone is a main theme, I think. I don't know. I think now it's a city thing, but I think it used to be a main theme. I'm not sure. Trains. I want to get more trains. We do have 3. Well, we have the city train, the white, and we have 2 cargo trains. We have the latest cargo train and that blue cargo train that Adrian made into a space train. Will I hang any planes for my ceiling? I might. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a good question. I'm not sure right now. Yeah, I don't know if I will or not. I would like to do more medieval stuff, to be quite honest. I'll tell you what, Lego Paradise, who is a genius in building mechanisms that make your Lego work and make your Lego real life. But he started a series of building a medieval village, and I mean, you have to check him out. He's got a lot of subscribers, but he's fascinating and amazing, creative, mechanical builder, and his medieval city is just going to be gorgeous. And I would love to have a medieval city. Right now I have the castle and the jousting area and the medieval village, but it's kind of smushed together because it's in the amusement park. But that would be something I would like to do as well. Yeah, Lego Paradise is a genius. I firmly believe that. I mean, the stuff that he builds is just amazing, and I really hope that he gets much more recognition, I think, than I know that his one thing got in Blocks magazine, his waterfall, but I really hope that he gets a lot more recognition from Lego itself. The UV orange pieces are coming back with the Monkey Kid Demon Bull villains. Yeah, I like the Monkey Kid theme. I like the Monkey Kid theme, and I don't think it's adventurers level, but maybe that's just my age showing through. But I do think that the Monkey Kid theme is probably one of the better themes that Lego has brought out. That's not, their own IP. In many years. I think that's, and it's one of the few, but it definitely is better than the Hidden Side, I think, and it has more potential. The Hidden Side seems like a very niche product. So is there anything that that you all have? About 10 more minutes that I want to hang out here, and then I'm going to have to get going, and real life calls, and I'm hoping to do some building later. Actually, like I said, I want to do some Gold City Junction. I want to mock that up. I think there's the bank and the general store. Would you ever submit a mock to Lego Ideas? I thought about that. I've gotten so many comments on my Smitty's auto repair shop, and I know I keep going back to that. And it's not that it's it's a mock like everybody else builds mocks, but I've got so many comments about it and people liking it, that, I thought about submitting it, but it's an auto repair shop. We've already got one. We have the modular, we have the tuner workshop, that sort of thing. So I would submit an idea if it were original, and that Lego didn't have it and didn't have anything like it, and that there was no IP involved, because I really do think that excuse me, that some of the future of some of the ideas mocks is in non-IP stuff. Again, the IP stuff, it makes money, sells product. It's a short tail type of thing. But I think the long tail future is in Lego creating its own IP. And like Monkey Kid, like Adventurers, like Pirates, like other things like that. But I don't know. I'm just one person. Yeah, that's true. It might help the channel a lot. It might help it, and again, I'm not out for, I love the subscribers and stuff. Excuse me. But I just do what I do. And there are other channels that have hundreds of thousands more subscribers than mine, obviously. And all they do is reviews, and I don't really do reviews. I do some reviews, mostly of old sets. I started out doing a few reviews, and then I got away from there. If the reviews really sell more, that sort of thing. But again, I like to do it for the love of it, and I like to do it because I like to tell stories with my bricks. DZ, it's been good talking with you. Thank you, my friend. Take care. Octan Industries, 3 floor. That's a good idea. I know my buddy Daryl at Bevan's Bricks is doing an Octan building. My big mock that I will be making, my next big mock will be a hotel resort for 6 Figs. Because I'm thinking to myself, I have an amusement park, but I don't have a resort, and every amusement park has a hotel, right? You need hotels, and I don't have any hotels in Figsdale. So I'm going to build a hotel resort for 6 Figs. Well, I'm going to try to wrap it up. Do I have hidden side, Thomas? Yeah, I do. I do have some hidden side. I have the boat, the shrimp shack, the juice. Do I have the juice bar, and that little car? Those are the only hidden sides I have. I didn't. My son, my oldest son, my 28-year-old son, he has all the hidden side sets. He's really into hidden side. He liked them, and he's like me. He's an AFOL now with my grandson, so he is he's starting out, and that's one of the things he's collecting. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like the Western stuff, David. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I appreciate it. You all are amazing, and I wish you nothing but the best with your families and your loved ones, and health. Please stay healthy. Please wear your masks, social distance, hand sanitize. Keep yourself healthy and keep others healthy as well. It's very important for all of us to get through this. And thanks for all the love that you all have. And thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I can't believe that we've had, right now we still have 21 people in this stream, and that means a lot. I appreciate it. But I am going to have to go. So anyway, with that said, y'all have a wonderful day. This is Dr. McBrick signing out. Now, if I can figure out how to sign out of all 8 streams that I have going, I'll see y'all later. Take care. I will work on it, John. Promise I'll work on the Pigsleys. Thank you very much, Crystal. See you, Thomas. See y'all. I'm out of here.